just do it with Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Hurts, it's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield, now the near side, man open, touchdown! Looking deep, he's got a man! Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown! He's in! Touchdown! Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown! He's rolling around. Touchdown, Dolphins! Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, hit! Let's go!
What is good, Finn Nation? Woo, baby, what's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are not too far away from prime time for the Miami Dolphins, ladies and gentlemen, as it is Friday evening. There's over 130 of you already in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through right now and showing some love to your boy on this Friday night. As you know what we're going to do, we are going to preview the Dolphins and Eagles. Plus, we're going to dive into this Stephen A. Smith, Tyreek Hill drama, as I've got it all bottled up into a video piece for all of y'all. It's about 12 minutes long, so we're going to get into it pretty shortly here. We're not going to have one of those usual 25-minute rants, but there are some things I do want to talk about before we get in. First of all, I want to thank all the Patreons, all the channel members. Y'all make it possible. Everyone in the chat right now, if you don't donate, if you're not a Patreon, if you're not a channel member, please smash that like button. It's free. It costs you nothing. But to all of you that do donate, are a channel member or a Patreon, I appreciate you for supporting the channel, helping it move forward, and where we are at because of all of you. And we will keep getting better and better and giving you the best live content. Y'all already know what time it is, baby. Y'all already know what time it is. So shout out to all of you that support the channel. I also want to give a huge shout out. Man, go to vibesmiami.com, 15% off. Use code REASON if you are a Patreon or a channel member. Go to the community tab on YouTube or go to the Patreon page, and you will see a special 25% discount code just for all of you. So go check that out. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Kyle F. He comes through and he says, best Dolphin show on YouTube. I appreciate, man, I just try to bring y'all the best because you deserve nothing less. And that's why your boy, I don't like when people lie to you. I don't like when people misinform all y'all. I don't like when people who don't know what they're talking about act like they know what they're talking about to try to convince y'all to a narrative or agenda, because y'all are the family, right? So when people lie to you, when people misinform you, when people miseducate you, or when people construe things to try and get you to believe to fit their narratives or their agenda, I take that personal, and I always will, man. You know, go to that MJ meme, right? And I took that personally. I've always been like that, and I always will be like that, man. So let's go, though. I do want to say something before we get in. I want to restate some things, and I want to update some things. So first of all, I know everyone's talking about, I was surprised that I had the amount of people that I had literally yesterday talking about they believe we need a corner. Why do we need a corner? We just drafted one in the second round. X isn't out yet. Ramsey's going to be back Ramsey's going to be back in the next few games. And why do we need that? Why do we need that? We don't need to trade. Listen, I would love Patrick Surtain, but y'all got to get in the mind frame, out of that mind frame of the old defense. I've been trying to explain to this defense for you. I know some of y'all are seeing it in front of you. Some of y'all still aren't understanding it. This defense is all about getting that pass rush up front, middle line, and then the middle linebackers cleaning up, doing their job, and then the secondary. We are not in the Boyer and Flores era anymore. You will not see this team paying that kind of money, i.e. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard at the same time, to multiple corners. It's just not going to happen. They're going to allocate those funds much better and spread it out a lot more, right? Edge rushers get paid in this system. Safeties get paid in this system. Good interior middle linebackers will get paid in this system, and you will pay a good corner. But you're not going to be out here spending, we're not going to be out here spending. It's a different defense. Y'all have seen it, how much this defense is predicated on that pass rush off the front four. When you find four guys who can get a stabilized and consistent pass rush, those are the guys you're re-upping. Those are the guys you're trying to keep in-house, because that's how this whole defense operates. Because if you can get a pass rush, the less players you can get a pass rush, the more Fangio can disguise what he's doing behind that pass rush, right? And that's one of the big things of his defense. So, people got to understand that. Listen, I would love Patrick Surtain, but they're going to be looking to get out of Xavier Howard's money, not looking to add another Xavier Howard-like contract to that secondary this offseason. That's how I see it. Listen, I would love Patrick Surtain and Jalen Ramsey. I just don't, it's not a viable option. And the Denver Broncos have also said Patrick Surtain is untouchable. But, I would be looking at middle linebacker. I'd be knocking on Levante David's door. I'd be knocking on Frankie Lavue's door. And, I'd be knocking on the Colts door with Anthony Richardson out for the season. Are you willing to trade me Zaire Franklin? Keep Shaq Leonard. I'll take Zaire Franklin, 110-plus tackle guy. Him and Bobby. I'm not going to get Bobby Okereke from the struggling Giants because they just re-upped. They just signed him as a free agent 8 months ago. They're not going to sell Bobby Okereke. But if you give me Levante David, Frankie Lavue, or Zaire Franklin and pair them with David Long in the middle, oh boy, oh boy. And listen, there are tackle options I like out there, You could go with the Tier Tart. You could go with the Shy Tuttle. I mean, another linebacker I like, if you want me to name you a fourth linebacker, go for Josie Jewell from Denver. There are targets there right now. But see, there's certain teams that are 2-4 or 3-3 that I don't think are selling. Like the Packers are 2-4, as are the Chargers 2-4. The Chargers aren't going to sell us a good, I tell y'all, finding a backup competent center or guard who can play center, that's going to be so tough because some of these teams that are struggling have young quarterbacks. They're not going to trade offensive line pieces. You know what I mean? So it's a tough game out there. And listen, teams that are 2-4 or 3-3 right now, teams that are 3-3, right? Because there's a couple teams that are 3-2, right? Like Tampa Bay and Seattle are 3-2. Are they sellers? They got 2 more games to play until the trade deadline, which is on Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween. I mean, why would they start selling at 3-2? Same thing with teams that are 2-4. You could play the next 2 weeks and be 4-4. Now you're at 500. What do you do? So I'm looking at teams that only have like no wins or 1 win right now. Those are the real ones. Some 2-4 teams like the Vikings you look at, but would Flores really sell some of his defensive players to us right now? Interesting thing. So, and as we get in, okay, hold on 1 sec here. What we got? Davis or Honey Badger? We don't need a safety. So we don't need the Honey Badger. What Davis are you talking about right now? Let me know, Knight, in the chat. You don't have to donate to tell me. You already donated. But we don't need a safety. We got Deshaun Elliott. We don't need him. Jordan Hicks. I'm not a huge Jordan Hicks guy, man. Not a huge Jordan Hicks guy. I think Jordan Hicks is very overrated. How is Channing Tindall progressing? Not well enough. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's talk. Let's have the conversation, which I kind of warned everyone, right? What did I kind of say? I kind of said, last year he admitted he had problems picking up the playbook. Now he's got to switch to a whole new defense. Are we going to be back to square one? Seems like we might be back to square one. But, Jordan Hicks, I'm going to tell you right now, listen, and Devin White. People are going to say Devin White. Devin White wants $20+ million. Are you going to trade for Devin White? You want to trade for him as a rental and let him walk and go get paid? Go ahead. But I'd call Levante David. And here's the thing. The Bucks and the Seattle Seahawks, they're 3-2. So if you want a Levante David or a Bobby Wagner, you got to hope they lose this week and maybe next week as well. And then that's a last-minute Tuesday deal if they are sitting at 3-4. Because right now, those two teams are 3-2. I don't think Bobby Wagner wants to leave the West Coast. That's what I was told why he didn't really entertain coming to Miami when we were looking. But we've gone after Levante David the last few cycles that he's re-upped. We've been interested in Levante David. Zaire Franklin, I would make that move. Zaire Franklin is a great middle linebacker. He's just not a name. Y'all that love Shaq Leonard, but I'm telling you, Zaire Franklin and Bobby Okereke, they were the great interior duo in Indianapolis over the last couple of years, and then they split them up. And I would love Bobby Okereke from the 105 Giants, but they're not going to trade a guy they signed 8 years ago, like I said. And Frankie Lavu and Josie Jewell. Remember, Fangio drafted Josie Jewell, and I think Lavu, you all saw him Sunday with that athleticism, that instinct. He's all over the field, just a nose for the ball, a nose for the ball carrier. I think they're better options than Jordan Hicks. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? I'm not a Jordan Hicks fan. So, but I'm looking at teams that have 0 wins or 1 wins, and then, I want Levante David, but they're 3-2 right now. I'm just putting him on my list because, hey, knock on the door and say, listen, are you really going to win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield? Come over here. We can win you another championship before you retire. Come play with Fangio, baby. You and David Long. Ooh, gets me all giggly and excited just to think about it. And I also want to just restate as we get into Philly and Miami this week, okay? This is not the end-all, be-all. Don't let anyone tell you, this is, listen, this is a measuring stick. But you're against an NFC team in Week 7. The Chiefs game in 2 weeks is bigger than this one. That's an AFC game that could have playoff seeding implications. That's a huger game than where we're dealing with right now. And they're the former Super Bowl champs. Because I'll tell you one thing. Those same people that are telling you right now, this is the biggest game, this is going to blah, 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 blah. They're the same people that if we win this game, but we lose to the Chiefs in Germany, well, they couldn't beat the Super Bowl champs, blah, 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 blah. They'll just move the goalposts on all y'all. Listen, and I'll tell you this. The Chiefs game is bigger than this. I think the Chiefs game is more important than this one. But even the Chiefs game is a Week 9 game. There could be bigger games in Week 14, Week 15, Week 16, Week 17, Week 18 with serious playoff seeding and implications on the line, as well as We're inevitably going to play a playoff game this year, ladies and gentlemen. That game is going to trump anything we play until that point. So keep that in perspective as well, okay? So, if anything, I'm showing you just how bigger and bigger this is going to get as the weeks go on here in the season. So, we ain't going to be talking about Week 7 primetime against the Eagles unless we're seeing them in the Super Bowl in February. Other than that, in Week 16, 17, 18, and the playoffs, our first playoff games, because we're going to play multiple, we ain't going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and Week 7 game. Okay, let me tell you all that. So put it into perspective right now for yourselves, okay? Yes, this is a good measuring stick, but this is nothing more than that. This is nothing more than that. Keep that in perspective. Keep a healthy perspective on this game. All right? Like, everyone blew their lid over the Buffalo loss. Buffalo barely beat the Giants, and we blew them out. Buffalo looks like they won the Super Bowl against us, and we look like we're still on the trajectory. That was just a hiccup and a bump in the road, which I warned y'all about from a gambling perspective. Teams who had won that type of game we won against the Broncos, historically from a point spread and straight up betting odds, teams crap the bed coming off the type of win we did. And that's just that's not me making an excuse or justifying it because I don't. That's just looking at historically the numbers, right? And then what did Tua say himself? Some people in that room needed to be humbled. So clearly, exactly, right? Timothy Washington donates $1. Appreciate you, Timothy. Thank you for the $1. Man, I appreciate, because we don't know if ESPN's... Oh, Demario Davis. You didn't have to donate, Knight. I would have found it anyways. But Demario Davis or Honey Badger? Demario's a linebacker. I'll take Demario Davis all day, okay? Give me that linebacker help right now. We don't need the safety help. Deshaun Elliott and Javon Holland are fantastic together. We've got the duo. Brandon Jones doesn't have a chance to touch the field. He had 4 snaps last week. Right? And it's not like they're massaging him back in. Look at all the snaps he had when Deshaun Elliott was out. He got exposed. What we knew he was coming out of Texas. Everyone remembers. I was not a fan of that pick coming out of Texas. I was bitter. The Jets drafted... who was that kid that I wanted from Cal? I wanted that safety from Cal who went a couple picks before us. Y'all will remember in the chat, man. You know me, man. There's so many evaluations, so many players. I wanted that kid out of Cal that it was Gase's last year, and they drafted him a couple picks before us because the DB coach that left with Brian Flores, that safeties coach we like, he coached him at Cal. I'm trying to remember that kid's name. Who was that kid's name? Oh, man. Y'all can Google right in front of me, dude, I'm trying to remember that Cal safety. Let me give me a sec. Let me look this up because it's gonna bug me. Jets. Ashton Davis. Yeah, Ashton Davis. I wanted Ashton Davis. That's who I wanted. I wanted Ashton Davis, and they drafted him. Yeah, Ashton Davis, and listen, Ashton Davis got buried into the wrong system. Neither one of them really did they have they even really turned into anything? I think Jordan Whitehead's a strong safety. Ashton Davis is like the backup right now in New York. But anyways, I digress. That game he had against Herbert where he picked Herbert up multiple times and lit up receivers over the middle of the field. Oh, if anyone watched that game, oh man, you came away saying, well, if Herbert's a top 10 pick, this guy's a freaking, then this guy is an absolute freaking first round pick himself, man. Ashton Davis was a beast at Cal. Absolute beast. Anyways, shout out to all of you in the chat. Let's get into it. We're going to go over it. Let's get into Tyreek Hill versus Stephen A. Smith. Man, it's been quite a ride. So we're going to start off with Stephen A. Smith's comments that set Tyreek off and made Tyreek comment, Tyreek's comments, and then we'll go into Stephen A. Smith's response today for you guys. All right, here it is.
814 receiving yards, 6 touchdown catches, 19.4 yards per catch. There's been 14 games this season where a player had at least 150 receiving yards in a game. The brother Tyreek Hill has 40. 40. Now, let me tell y'all something right now. I don't know if y'all watching Miami enough. All of these passes, 8 for 19, 20, 30, 40 yards. You just got Tua dipping it 2 yards to him, and he the one taking it to the house. He the one going 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. This brother, and I call him the Dame Dollar of the NFL. I mean, he when he's running for a touchdown, he's waving goodbye to defenders. This is what he's doing before he throws it. But that's after waving goodbye.
Well, I feel like Steven, and I'm not going to call him a clown. I'm not going to call him any kind of name. But all I'm going to say is, like, Stephen A. Smith, man, like, he just watched, like, I feel like he just taking words from to me, I don't really know what to say, but if you really just watch the games and just watch how we play, like, none of our routes are really like 2 yards. You feel me? Like, as a quarterback, the quarterback is like the hardest position in the league. You feel me? And for a guy to be even considered to be MVP, like, that's next level. And for Stephen A. Smith to go out his way and just say that Tua isn't worthy of being like an MVP is like, it's like crazy. It's crazy to me, man, because if you look at all of the list of the quarterbacks besides Lamar Jackson, all of the, past MVPs, like, they had guys, they had receivers, like, throw the ball to, like, and we know the names. I'm not going to sit up here and name them, but, like, just because a guy has talent around him now and he's succeeding, like, it doesn't mean that he's not worthy of being a candidate of MVP. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to take it, man, because all of my receptions last week was over 30 yards. You feel me? Either 25 yards or 30 yards. So, what do you think about it?
I don't know what games he's been watching because it's I mean, literally 2 yards. What size are you? What, 10 and a half, 10 and a half, I'm 10 and a half? Yeah. That's 2 steps, bro. Like, that's not very far. So to say that, and I know he was just being, he was obviously embellishing a little bit or exaggerating that whole 3 yard situation. But I'm sure, and I know he meant, short passes, then you take to the house. But, if you look at some of the MVPs in the past, that's where they excelled at, short routes, quick downs, and keep the ball movement. And they got called and considered the GOAT, Tom Brady. Not saying he didn't have an arm, because he did, but if you go back and you watch his film, you watch his Super Bowls, you watch his entire career, you never just seen him saying, I'm a gunslinger, I'm going 40 yards every other play. So I think it's an unfair criticism of Tua. I think and sometimes in life is just a thing to do in the moment for ratings. Do I really think he believes that? I honestly don't think he believes that when he goes home at the end of the day by any means. I don't.
Yeah, because that's what's hot now. But I'm sick and tired of people bashing my quarterback, man, for no reason. Tell him, Tyreek. I'm sick of it. I'm standing on the table and saying right now, I'm sick of people bashing my quarterback, man. He's been doing a hell of a job this year, and people need to stop giving him crap. You feel me? Like, a lot of people don't understand what my dog went through just to get here, man. Like, what he went through last year especially. And to get to where he is now, being talked about as an MVP, that's next level, man. I don't know too many quarterbacks that's doing it. I don't. I'm sorry.
You know what's the scariest part about that is he got injured last year, some severe injuries, some severe concussions that, a lot of people's like, oh, he shouldn't have been playing, he shouldn't have been doing this, he won't come back off of that. I don't know what they thought this guy was built from or what kind of cloth he made out of or what his upbringing is. Tua tough.
Yes, sir.
Tua T is tough, and I think he's making a statement. I think he has that edge on him. Now, I don't know if it's the tattoo, the tribal tattoo he came back with or what, but he definitely got some edge to him.
Yeah.
And
but let's start things off.
All right, here's Stephen A. Smith, and here is his response today. Guys, smash the like button. Your boy don't know if you're going to get demonetized or not really playing this, so smash that like button on the minimum.
If you really just watch the games and just watch how we play, like, none of our routes are really like 2 yards. You feel me? Like, as a quarterback, the quarterback is like the hardest position in the league. You feel me? And for a guy to be even considered to be MVP, like, that's next level. And for Stephen A. Smith to go out his way and just say that Tua isn't worthy of being like an MVP is like, it's like crazy. It's crazy to me, man, because if you look at all of the list of the quarterbacks besides Lamar Jackson, all of the past MVPs, like, they had guys, they had receivers, like, the ball to. Like, and we know the names. I'm not gonna sit up here and name them, but like just because a guy has talent around him now and he's succeeding, like it doesn't mean that he's not worthy of being a candidate of MVP. It's just I don't know. I don't know if to take it, man, because all of my receptions last week was over 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Either 25 yards or 30 yards.
Well, I got something in the clip for Stephen A. when we're down here.
Yeah.
Your response.
Brian, Bar Scott, forgive me for starting the show on this, but I just thought it was necessary because I want to educate some folks, Red. All right, because see, when you come at me, you gotta have receipts. You gotta know what the hell you're talking about. First of all,
I just provided them for you.
I'm sick and tired. RC, Bar Scott, and put RC up on the screen because I want to see him when I'm saying this kind of stuff. I'm getting sick and tired of no-name dudes asking questions to stars, not framing it. What? I don't know who the hell asked Tyreek Hill the question. I'm not disrespecting the brother. I want you not, but the brother, I know you. I know you are. That's his best friend. That's his best friend. My bad. You know what? I'm born
Now he's taking shots.
in Queens, so I guess RC, I got to get my boys, right? My boys got Cardell, Pooley, and the crew. Maybe I got to get one of them to ask me questions. They get national pub. All right, fine. Oh, please. Here's the deal. Wishing you nothing but the best, my brother. I don't want to. I just wanted to address this with Tyreek Hill. Everything is not meant to be said, taken literally. Of course, I wasn't trying to imply that Tua Tagovailoa can't throw the damn football. I certainly wasn't implying RC and Bart that he
You
wasn't
were
an
implying.
MVP candidate.
You said everything's
This
2
is the
yards.
first time. This is breaking news. This is the first time that I have to come to my own defense because I'm called out by a guy that I consider to be the best in the world. The discussion was that Tyreek Hill is so electrifying that I think right now, if you had him to take right now, you're thinking about the Jerry Rices, the Randy Mosses, the T.O.s, and Dan Orlovsky brought up Calvin Johnson the other day, RC and Bart. Yeah. In other words, to be in that conversation. I'm like, you literally have to think about guys like that because of how great Tyreek Hill is. The dude is phenomenal. And what I was trying to say was, you could throw him a 3-yard pass, and this brother could take it to the house.
No, you said look at all Miami's passes. See, he's lying. We got him lying, baby. Let's go.
I was not trying to say that's what Tua did last week. But the reason I felt the need to also address this at the top of the show, because I wanted to set the tone for the show by educating viewers.
Look at caught him lying. Red-handed.
What's my favorite saying, RC and Bart?
He literally said, look at all their passes.
No, I'm not. I listen to those who are. Tyreek Hill, damn it, you're absolutely right. If you want to sit up there and imply.
This guy's trying to be a revisionist.
I'm a reporter, bro.
No, you're a revisionist.
Now, as well as a
You're not a reporter, you're a revisionist.
You know football as a reporter? Do you know why I'm better and better at knowing football? Because of brothers here with me. RC, how many times?
Well, clearly you don't talk to them enough.
Boy, Scott, how many times do I give you credit for teaching me who to do? What about Chris King? I ain't one of those dudes that walk around acting like I knew because I was in the damn, I put on a pads and a helmet. Hell no. Never played football, never wanted to play football. I ain't want y'all brothers hitting me. Oh, no. I don't want no heat. I don't want that kind of heat. I report.
Yeah, because you're
on
soft.
the sport. I watch it and I learn.
Softer than a roll of Charmin.
Tyreek Hill. All of these brothers. You're going to see Chris Canty on the show later. You saw Dan Orlovsky yesterday. You see Shannon Sharp on Mondays and Tuesdays, okay? You see Swagoo, Marcus Spears. They teach me the game every single week. The reason why First Take is number one is Rick. It ain't just because of me. It's because I handpicked all of these brilliant brothers to come on the show and to educate our viewers and our listeners because of their level of greatness intellectually as well as their performance on the field and their knowledge about the
What are we talking about now, Steven?
Inside the locker room, etc., etc. Iron sharpens iron. I'm not one of those dudes that comes on the air and think that I know it all because I think I know. I think I know what I know because I've been taught by greatness, and you're looking at a couple of the brothers right now. That is all that you need to know about me. And in terms of me watching the football games, I see you've been to my house when you interviewed me on the podcast.
Here you go.
You know how many TVs I got there.
Yes, I know, Stephen A.
I got 7 TVs in my basement. I'm watching all the games. So to accuse me of not watching the game, Tyreek Hill, please watch your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? But I wasn't saying.
Well, clearly you don't know what you're talking about.
Passes. I was saying that's all he had to do to accept.
No, that's not what you said.
That you are so great. I believe
look at the
you
backtrack.
deserve to be the MVP candidate for the Dolphins even more than Tua. That was the debate. Maybe if you had a journalist asking you that question instead of one of your boys, it would have been clearer. Okay? That's all I got to say.
But I elevate the crew.
No.
You want the crew to elevate.
Listen, I didn't say the brother shouldn't be on the podcast. I didn't say the brother shouldn't ask the question. I didn't say I want you to succeed. Whoever that brother is, I want you to succeed. I wish you nothing but great success. The whole bit. But if you're gonna ask a question about me, my brother, do it right. That I can teach because we all know.
I see it now.
We all know
Stephen
that I know
A.
how to do
on
that.
Tyreek Hill's podcast next week. Tyreek Hill's podcast. So.
All right, so here's the thing. Like, here's a literal quote. I don't know if y'all are watching Miami enough. All of these passes ain't for 19, 20, 30, 40 yards. You just got Tua dipping at 2 yards to Tyreek Hill. That's literally what he said. That's literally what he said. I don't know if y'all are watching Miami enough. All of these passes ain't for 19, 20, 30, 40 yards. You just got Tua dipping it 2 yards to Tyreek Hill. That's the exact quote. And now he's saying, no, I didn't say that. I was using it in the sense of that's all Tua had to do. This man's a straight up liar, and he's lying on national TV because he got called out by Tyreek Hill and he got put in his place. Now we got media pundits straight up. This guy's asking for the receipts. That's why I played the first clip that Tyreek responded to. I put the receipt before Tyreek's response and then your response to Tyreek to show everyone you were lying. This is where we're at now. No wonder more fans of football are coming to YouTube and watching people like me than watching y'all or watching Skip Bayless because it's a joke. It's a joke right now. Like, unbelievable stuff, man. Like, Tyreek Hill is 110% right. And, because look at right now, Tua. Tua right now is averaging about 8 yards in intended air yards per throw. If you go his average depth of target, right now, Tua and his average depth of target is, I believe, 8.4. And that's, what are we talking about here right now? If you look at right now, Tua and his yards per pass attempt, he's leading the league with 9.5 yards per pass attempt. So, and me and Martin highlight throws all the time of him throwing from the inner hashes to the opposite side of the field. A throw that looks like it's about 30 yards. It's actually about 45 if you were to actually measure it. So I don't know. And he hits Tyreek on those outs all the time. So I don't know what this guy's talking about, man. It's an absolute pile of dog shit. I'm going to say it. All right? The people are lying. And they got these agendas and these narratives. Listen, if it's all Tyreek, we can all sit here and agree as a total package, Mahomes is arguably the most talented quarterback in the NFL when you talk about total package. Why couldn't Tyreek do the type of things he's doing with Tua with Mahomes? And don't use Kelsey because we've had other guys that catch a football here, i.e. Jalen Waddle. I'm just saying. And we've had a better run game this year than I think I've ever seen in Kansas City with Mahomes, with what Mosert's done and Achane's done. They've been looking for that, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire never gave them that. Isaiah Pacheco's good, but he's not that. Their best running back over the past couple of years was Damian Williams' Super Bowl performance, and he's a former Dolphin himself. There's people in our community and there's people in the national media that constantly try to take away from what this kid's doing, his accomplishments. And Tyreek put it in perspective. Coming back from what he came back from last year and playing at even a higher level than he was last year, which we knew was going to happen because it was year 2 in this offense. Not many quarterbacks can do that. And the Dolphins have a quarterback that could do that. People keep trying to take away from the special things Uno's doing at the position right now. When I'm going to say it, and I'll say it again, don't give me the Drew Brees comparison. He's more accurate. He throws with better anticipation. He has a stronger arm. He's a better athlete. And I think he's a higher level processor pre-snap. Y'all got to start talking about what I've been talking about. Tom Brady. I've been telling y'all, keep your highlight, big arm, throws, keep all that. Give me high level IQ, high level efficiency, and high level accuracy. Tom Brady made a 20-year dynasty off of it. That's what I've been saying. And that's what we're seeing from Tua. And look at the results. Thank you very much. And look at the growth all these quarterbacks have taken with big receivers. Ben Roethlisberger with Hines Ward early on, right? Tom Brady had never thrown 30-plus touchdowns in a season before Randy Moss arrived. And then look at the Welkers and the Edelmans and how he groomed them. People don't understand the growth and the development. Look at Josh Allen, the passer he became when he got Stephon Diggs, right? Tua is set up that when Tyreek Hill does leave in a few years, Tua's going to be churning out receivers that are going to be mid wherever else they go, but Tua churns them out into guys that are more than capable. I mean, we saw it early on in his career. Has anyone, other than on a milk carton, has anyone seen Lynn Bowden Jr.? Remember how reliable Tua made Lynn Bowden? Remember how many people in his fan base were sad when Lynn Bowden left? Gesicki. Is Gesicki on a milk carton in Massachusetts now? Just saying. Think about it. He's doing special things, man, and we saw it early on, and now it's just getting better and better and better when you upgrade the talent. That's all it is. So let's get into today, and let's get into this preview, because there were some things. Chris Brooks today was officially put on injured reserve. Not good. Not a good situation for Chris Brooks right now. It didn't sound good, obviously, when it happened. Now that he's gone and they were taking some days, no corresponding move was made, obviously, but obviously Jeff Wilson's probably going to coming back from injured reserve. Right now, Miami is going to have Raheem Mostert and Salvon Ahmed and Jeff Wilson as their running backs, probably moving forward until Achane returns. He'll be back, Achane, I believe, from what I've told, the first game after the bye. So that, and then, I know everyone wanted to ask. This was a question we had in the chat, on the show, etc. Here's just an update on where we're at with IR returns, right? The Dolphins have used 3 of their maximum permitted 8 designated returns from IR: Rob Jones, Jeff Wilson, and Ramsey. 2 others very likely to be used are Armstead and Achane. Final 3 could be saved for protective cushion or used on Craycraft, Eazy-E, or Brooks. Needham does not count amongst those 8 because he began the year on the PUP. He must be activated by next Wednesday to be eligible. Eazy-E would count towards the 8. So we've got 5 spots to bring back players off the injured reserve, and really we only have 3 because our Armstead and Achane are going to take up 2 of those spots. So it's going to be interesting to see how they maneuver. Do they keep Brooks on IR just for the rest of the year and shut him down, and that's the way of stashing him? Same with Eazy-E. Is that the way of stashing Eazy-E and River? Because essentially, if it's something you think is going to be nagging or could flare up, you can use this as a stash scenario, right? Guys, over 415 of you in the room on a Friday. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. So there's an IR update. Chris Brooks moved to it. We've got 5 spots left to activate guys from it, and 2 of those are already going to be taken up with Achane and Armstead. So theoretically, we only have 3 left. All right. So, and no, IR does not reset for the postseason. All right, here we go. Let's keep it rolling into the preview. And I know some of y'all are going out for the game. This is what we're going to be dealing with and what y'all are going to be dealing with, really. At kickoff, it's going to be about 52, and it's going to feel like 52, and it's going to get down to 49, feeling like 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh boy, it's going to be a chilly one for all of y'all, so be prepared. Be prepared, because that's like 6 degrees. It's going to get down to 6 degrees Celsius up here where I am. When you use Celsius up here. Now, you're going to have, look at the gusts. You're going to have winds to the northwest of 19 miles per hour, but look at the gusts. Potentially 30 mile per hour gusts. Now, there's going to be cloud cover, right? It's going to be partly cloudy. You're going to have cloud cover from 32 to 36%, but there is going to be gusty winds. And when your team rocking Jason Sanders, that doesn't make you feel real good about about that night. I'm gonna tell you that much. But either way, I know there's a bunch of you going out there. Make sure you dress warm, rep your colors, but make sure you're bundled up. You already know what time it is. And have a blast. And I'm gonna tell you this. Listen, from a Penguins fan, I want y'all to listen to me right now. Philadelphia fans, psychotic also starts with PH to an extent, right? There's a PH in psychotic as well. I mean, these guys are nuts. All right? Like, there's a PH in psychotic and there's a PH in Philadelphia. All right, there's multiple, but you get where I'm going here. Be careful, all right? I know all that because I'm the first one that'll jaw jack and run my mouth to opposing teams. I'm going to tell you this one thing. As a Penguins fan, I wouldn't go watch a game in Philadelphia. Let me put it that way, okay? So, and the Eagles have won a lot more lately than the Philadelphia Flyers. So, I mean, y'all remember, Google it after this show is done. Go on YouTube and go search Philadelphia fans throw snowballs at Santa Claus. They don't mess around out there. All right? And, I've heard stories about, like, at the intersections about Philly fans just beating the piss out of opposing team fans at, like, intersections, like crosswalks and stuff. So I'm just going to say bundle up, but stay on your P's and Q's because you're in Philadelphia, man. All right? The injury report for this week. This is what we're looking at. Jalen Ramsey, he's out. Xavier Howard's, he is questionable. Alec Ingold's questionable. Nick Needham's questionable. Connor Williams, he's questionable as well, isn't he? So here's the thing, though. Just so y'all know, here is an update on a couple of those for you guys, okay? Now, Xavier Howard, they're questionable. They're questionable. Xavier Howard says he intends to play. Fangio said Phillips will be on a pitch count, right? Now, the interesting thing is going to be we're waiting for an update. What are we expecting from Connor Williams? And we don't really know yet what to expect from Connor Williams. We just don't. So, like he seems like he wants to go, but you listen to McDaniel, it could be another week without him. Now, why is that not good news? Because guess what? Listen, they can get over Bradley Roby and Reed Blankenship in Philly. All their guys are good to go. Jalen Carter's good to go, right? And don't like that. So everyone's pretty much good to go for them. Devontae Smith could be good to go. Dallas Goedert would be good to go. But Jalen Carter is good to go for them. And with potentially having to deal with Liam Eichenberg against him, that is not not a fantastic matchup for the Miami Dolphins. That is something to definitely keep an eye on. That is, nothing to joke around about right there. I'm hoping Connor Williams can go, but at the end of the day, if he can't and they're holding him out, I get it because it's only week 7. You want him good to go. They threw Baby Doll a Gervasius, says Knight. Listen, where am I at with this, man? Where am I at with this? We're going to find out if last week was an anomaly for Eichenberg. Let me say that much. You're going to find out if that was, in fact, an anomaly. That's just what it is. So, this is nothing to joke around about. Right now, you got a guy coming back in Jalen Carter who right now, he is just, when he's been healthy, he's playing some good football, man. He is playing some good football. I mean, he only has 164 snaps and he has 23 pressures. To put it, for example, Josh Sweat has the most pressures on the team right now for the Eagles. He's had to play 272 snaps to get 27 pressures, only 3 more than Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter has, I believe, 3.5 sacks right now. 17 QB hurries. So, yeah. It matters. It matters, man. It matters this weekend. We're hoping to get an update on Connor. Listen, I'm gonna have a Patreon 3 takes video coming out either tonight or tomorrow for all of y'all. We'll be talking about Jalen Ramsey. I'm trying to get y'all an update to what to exactly expect for Connor Williams on Sunday. And then I'll have a written version of that for channel members under the community tab as well, all right? So how do these two teams stack up as we head into this game? When you look from a total offense perspective, you got the number 1 offense against the number 2 offense. But here's the thing, all right? There's a couple numbers here that are a little skewed here for the Eagles. So you look at it, 498.7 yards are what the Dolphins are averaging right now to the Eagles' 395 yards right now. As a passing offense, the Dolphins are number 1 in the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa obviously leading the NFL right now as well. He has over 1,800 yards passing. He's got 1,876 to be exact, while Jalen Hurts only has 1,542 right now. You look at rushing offense, the number 1 rushing offense in Miami, 181.8 yards per game against the number 2 in Philly. Now, here's the interesting thing. When we get to the scoring offense, the Dolphins are the number 1 scoring offense, 37.17 points per game, while the Eagles are averaging about 25.83 points per game, which is number 5 for them, right? Now, here's what's interesting. You look at the last week, they could only score 14 points against the Jets. You look at the week before that, they scored 23 against the Rams. They've only, if you look at over the last 2 weeks, they're only averaging about 18.5 points per game, well below the 25.83 points you see right there for them. So they're averaging 25.83 points per game, but they're out over the last 2 games are only averaging about 18.5 points per game, and our defense looks like it's getting better. In terms of sacks, the Eagles have allowed 14 sacks. The Dolphins have only allowed 6, so that's second best in the NFL. Third down offense, the Eagles are the best first down offense in the NFL. They convert at a 50.6 clip. The offense, for the Dolphins, they convert at a 44.1 clip. So they're 7th best in the NFL. Now, it's going to be a really good battle offense versus offense, you know what I mean? And you'll see that as we go on here into my keys of victory and as well as my matchup to watch. So defensively, the Eagles are the number 9 total defense in the NFL. They're only allowing about 298 yards of offense a game. The Dolphins, they're allowing about 343.7 yards per game, which is 20th. Remember, those games to the Bills and the Chargers, over 6 games period have hurt that number. Passing defense, the Dolphins are allowing about 229.2 yards per game, which is 19th. The Eagles, they're 20th. They're worse. They're allowing 232.2 yards per game, and they're coming against the number one passing offense. So you got the number one passing offense against the number 20. Think about that for a second. All right. Rushing defense, they're the second best rushing defense, and they're going up against the number one rushing offense. Another great battle, as they're only allowing 65.8 yards per game. That's almost a third of what we're averaging right now. That's crazy. Dolphins, on the other flip side, they're allowing about 114.5 yards per game, which is 20th. Scoring defense, the Eagles are allowing about 20.7 points per game. The Dolphins, again, you look at the Chargers, you look at the Bills game right there, right there, you're talking about over 80 points, right? You're talking about like 82 points. So the sacks, Dolphins, they're tied for third. They have 21. The Eagles are tied for fifth. They have 20. So only one sack separates these two teams. They can get after it. Third down defense, they're 23rd. They allow a conversion clip of 42.1%. The Dolphins are 20th. They allow a 41.0% clip. Takeaways, the Dolphins have 5, which is 22nd. They have 8, which is 12th. And then as an offense, the Dolphins have given the ball away 9 times, which is 20th, while the Eagles have given the ball away 9 times as well, which is 20th. So you really look at this, it's a battle of you look at, it's a lopsided number 1 passing offense versus the number 20 passing defense when you look at the Dolphins versus the Eagles. And then the interesting matchup, the number 1 rushing offense against the number 2 rushing defense. Ooh. So, and they're a team that gets after it, and I'm telling you, without Connor, it could feel like a long day at times. That's not good. That is not good. That is the worst case scenario. All right. So let's get into my keys of victory. How can we circumvent this? How can we win this game? 410 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Here's my keys on offense. You're going to have to stymie that Eagles defensive front. You're going to have to find a way to stymie Jalen Carter, right? Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis. They'll blitz Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat. You're going to have to find a way to stymie that. You just are, right? Even if they rotate a guy like Nolan Smith in, don't let him have a day against you. I don't know how. But we say this every time we faced a good defensive front. We said, man, I don't know how they're going to. And they have. Other than one game. You're going to have to put your best foot forward in prime time, especially if Eichenberg's out there. Because these guys are going to be getting up after just losing to the Jets and only putting up 14 points. They're going to be itching to put up points. And we all remember how these two teams viewed each other last year in the offseason. They both thought they'd play each other in the Super Bowl. That's how good these two teams think they are and how highly they think of each other. You're going to have to tack a banged up secondary. Listen, we went over the injury report. Darius Slay's coming back, right? But if you look at them right now, they have a lot of injuries. You know what I mean? That's just where they're at right now. You got, even when you come back, you're still battling it to an extent, right? You don't come back 110%, but Darius Slay's battling something. Obviously, Reed Blankenship's out for them. Sidney Brown's battling something for them. Bradley Roby is battling. Like, they're hurt up. They're hurt. You know what I mean? They're hurt in that. They're banged up. They're bruised in that secondary. And you need to attack them. All right? Because right now, Darius Slay is allowing about 318 yards per game. He's allowed 318 yards right now. He's allowing 11.8 yards per reception right now. He has 102.7 NFL passer rating when he's targeted. He's allowed 2 touchdowns. Right? James Bradbury's allowed 2 touchdowns as well. He's allowed 171 yards. And he's allowing about 10.7 per reception right now. Let's put the work in, man. Let's put the work in. I think we can light him up a little bit. Mario Goodrich, we can light him up a little bit too. They're allowing touchdowns in that secondary, man. I mean, Josh Jobe, when he's in there, allowed 3. Mario Goodrich is allowed 2. James Bradbury's allowed 2. Darius Slay's allowed 2. When Blankenship was in there, he was charged for allowing 1. Justin Evans, the other safety, has allowed 1. I'm just saying. They're allowing it, so got to expose it, and they're banged up a little bit. And then you got to find balance. Please don't get pass happy. Listen, I know you're worried about that front and the run stops, but you have to continue to find that balance. That's the way you're going to beat them, too. You're going to keep that offense off the field. You want to keep that offense off the field, get a lead, and, force Jalen Hurts to do some things to bring them back in and have a chance to beat you. So don't get away from Mostert and that run game. If Mostert's feeling it, feed him. And the same thing goes with Jeff Wilson. Blend Jeff Wilson in. We're going to need the rock to be moved on the ground. There ain't no doubt about it. So if you stymie that Eagles defensive front, attack a banged up secondary, and you find balance and don't get pass happy, I like our chances on offense. I think in 30 pass plays, you can make a lot happen, right? If you blend in the run properly. I really do. I really do think you can make a lot happen. Now, let's get into the defensive keys. The defensive keys for me are as follows. You're going to have to force Hurts to beat you from the pocket. All right, the guy's thrown just as many interceptions as he has touchdowns. 7-7. He ain't slicing and dicing from the pocket like he was last year. Doesn't look as effective from the pocket like he did last year. Got to contain him and force him. Someone's going to have to step up in coverage against A.J. Brown. I don't know whether it's Xavier Howard with a nagging groin. I don't know who it's going to have to be. But someone's going to have to step up on A.J. Brown right now. Because, the guy, he's a monster. You take A.J. Brown away and force Jalen Hurts to beat you at the pocket with Devontae Smith. Oh, we good. We're good. But this man already has over 670 yards receiving and a couple touchdowns to go with it. So I don't know who's going to step up, who's going to make the plays, but someone's going to have to step up in coverage against A.J. Brown, man. And you're going to have to win in the trenches and on third down. You're going to have to. We went over how good. You're talking about, we went over, right? You're talking about we're dealing with the best third down offense that's converting at a 50.6 clip in the NFL right now. And you're going to have to win in those trenches against one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. That's how you're going to stop DeAndre Swift. That's how you're going to make Jalen Hurts feel uncomfortable and contain him. And again, Lane Johnson is banged up right now. Send the house to his side. If he's a little slow into his kick slide or off the snap, you might have an advantage in getting around him and getting to the quarterback. So you got to win on trenches in the third down. Someone's going to need to step up in coverage against A.J. Brown. And you're going to have to force Hurts to beat you from the pocket. I think, historically, the personnel on this team, whether under Boyer, Flores, and now Fangio, they've struggled with guys who can get out of the pocket and make plays happen. That's just their MO. And then my matchup to watch, it's Tua versus Jalen Hurts. It's round 1. It's the first time these two have ever met. Former stud Alabama quarterbacks. Tua in the midst of an MVP-like season. Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl last year, lost, but in a losing effort, played at an a Super Bowl MVP-like level. There's just so much to like about this matchup. you look at it right now, and it's a special matchup for Bama fans, for Dolphin fans, for Eagle fans, for football fans. This is a matchup to keep your eye on right now. And, who's going to lead that team? Right now, Tua, he's leading the league with 1,876 yards. Jalen Hurts, he's 10th with 1,542. Tua has 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions passing. Jalen Hurts has 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He also has 5 rushing touchdowns. Why do I say that? Because if you add Jalen Hurts' total rushing and passing touchdowns, he has 12. Tua has more passing touchdowns than Hurts has touchdowns combined. All right? And he has less turnovers, obviously. Tua's averaging about 312 yards per game, 312.7 yards per game. Hurts is averaging about 257. Tua, when you talk about completion percentage, he's third in the NFL right now. Well, second, because I'm not really going to count Tyson Bagent. But he's, second in the NFL behind only Josh Allen. Whereas, you go down to Jalen Hurts and you're talking about middle of the pack. He's like 14th in the NFL at 66.2%. So, actually, he's 14th. So, listen, and then when you go with QBR, right now, Tua has the third best QBR in the NFL at 74.7. Hurts, he's 10th with 59.9. And you go passer rating, Tua has the best passer rating in the NFL at 114.1. Whereas when you look at Hurts, he's 19th in the NFL right now. So, interesting player matchup to watch. Both teams need this win. Which one's going to take the game by the reins and lead their team to victory? Man, we are in for a potentially special one in prime time on Sunday night. I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Comment after the fact or comment now. What is your score prediction? What do you have? Who do you have winning this game? And predict this for me. Who do you think is going to be the best player on the field this Sunday? Name them. It doesn't have to be Tua. It doesn't have to be Hurts. It can be any player. I want to hear who you think the best player on Sunday is going to be and your score. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments after the fact if you are watching after the fact. Now, for me, where am I at with the score prediction? For me, I am going to take the Dolphins. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I think they're going to put up points on us. I am going to take the Dolphins winning this game. You ready for it? Are you ready for it? 41-31. The Dolphins win by 10, but it's still a 41-31 scoring affair. All right, that's what I'm taking. 5 touchdowns for the Dolphins and 2 field goals. 4 touchdowns and a field goal for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's where I'm at. So, hey, let me know in the chat. I see we got, shout out to JP626. I'm going to go through a couple of you guys as we go through your scores and predictions here. Let's hear it. Let's hear what y'all got. 35-28 Dolphins. 34-27 Dolphins. I love it. Our defense can't stop anything. So Dolphins 38-34. Darth Sadik 28-24 Dolphins. 31-14 Dolphins is the prediction here. 34-21. 30-27. 34-37. 31-17. Love it. Love it. Love the predictions coming in right now for all y'all. Let's see here. Where we got here? Where we also got 31-24. Okay. 41-22. Fastest show on turf. 42-21 2 times in a row. Love it. 70-20. You're crazy. Ehrenberg 35-28. We got to get where's the We got to get the lone Eagles fan in here. He says 34-20 Eagles, DeAndre Swift. So, okay. Interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. 35-21. Connor, let's go. Let's go, boys and gals. Listen, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be live on Sunday. Make sure you tune in. I'll be live about 15, 20 minutes before the game. We'll go over the inactives and everything. And then it's Phinside After Dark. We will have the fifth quarter postgame show immediately following the night game. Unless something breaks tomorrow, I'll see all y'all on Sunday. Man. Y'all ready? Primetime, baby. Primetime Tua versus Jalen Hurts for the first time. Guys, Saban already told us who the better quarterback was when he named Tua the starter and Jalen Hurts went packing to Oklahoma. You already know. Saban, the greatest college football coach of our generation, no matter how Dolphin fans feel, he already answered that question. Fins up, baby. We'll answer that question on Sunday, too, with a dub. Love all y'all.